Miss Molly here for today's edition of First Chapter Friday. Today we are going to be reading Goblin Market, and this is a retelling by Diane Zahler. This is based on an original poem by Christina Rossetti called Goblin Market. So our little synopsis here. Lizzie and Minka are sisters, but they're nothing alike. Minka is older, outgoing and cheerful, while Lizzie is shy and sensitive. Nothing much ever happens in their sleepy village. There are fields to tend, clothes to mend, and weekly trips to the market, predictable as the ever-turning of the seasons. Lizzie likes it that way. It's safe, it's comfortable, and she hopes that nothing ever changes. But one day, Minka meets a boy who gives her a plum to eat. He's charming, he's handsome. He tells her that she's special. He tells her that no one understands her like he does. Not her parents, not her friends, not even her sister Lizzie. He tells her she should come away with him into the darkness, into the forest. For Minka has been bewitched and ensnared by a Zudzi, a goblin. His plum was poison, his words are poison, and strange things begin to happen. Trees bleed, winds howl, a terrible sickness descends on Minka, and deep in the woods, in a place beyond sunshine, beyond reality, a wedding table has been laid. To save her sister, Lizzie has to confront the impossible, enter into the world of dreams, danger, and death, and draw on reserves of courage she never knew she had. Rich world building is inspired by both Polish folklore and the poetry of Christina Rossetti, combining into a tender sister story that is a thrilling novel. So let's read the first couple pages of Goblin Market by Diane Zahler. Market day was Lizzie's favorite day of the week, not because she loved going to the market. The few times she'd been there, she'd hated it. There were so many people she didn't know, from villages and farms clear on the other side of Elza. There was so much noise, so much constant coming and going, so many smells and colors. It was overwhelming, terrifying. Each time she'd ended up hiding in a doorway at the edge of the square, trembling until Mother and Minka came to find her. Now Minka went on her own to the market. Mother was delighted that Minka was old enough to go alone, and she could stay home and attend to the chores. And Lizzie was delighted that she could steal into the woods for an hour or two when she was done helping Father in the fields. In the woods, Lizzie always went to the same place, a little stand of birch trees beside a trickling lake, or a trickling stream. If it was warm and the sun shone down to the circle of grass inside the grove, she would lie and look up at the sky. She could feel the breath of the wood as the wind rustled the birch leaves. She could hear the woods chuckle and the water running over the rocks. She even felt as if her heart and the wood's heart thrummed together, her own pulse matching the woods beat for beat. If it was cold, she'd wrap up in her shawl and walk to stay warm, just listening to bird songs, to the creak of branches rubbing together, to the rustle of rabbits and squirrels in the underbrush. For Lizzie, each sound was a color. When she was younger, 7 or 8, she'd sat on the kitchen table and tried to paint what she heard. But Minka laughed and pointed to her painted trees, saying, "These aren't gray, silly, and those don't even look like trees. They look like sticks with clouds on top." Minka loved to paint. She did it whenever she had a few minutes free of chores, and sometimes she did it instead of chores. She mostly used watercolors, but if she had a few extra coppers, she would go into Elza and buy a tube of oil paint, cerulean blue or chartreuse or violet, and paint the whitewashed walls of the cottage with flowers and intricate designs, inside and out. Her lips were always tinted blue or green because she chewed on her brushes when she thought about what to paint. "We don't have any silver paint," Lizzie said. "I had to use gray." "Leaves aren't silver either," Minka pointed out. "They're green or red or orange in the autumn." She took the paintbrush, dipped it, and in a few moments there was a tree on the paper, brown and green, almost as real as life. "But the sounds the leaves make is silver," Lizzie protested. "In springtime, anyway." Minka rolled her eyes. "What does that even mean?" she asked. "The sound the leaves make is silver." "It's the color they make when they rustle together," said Lizzie. When the breeze blows. You know, the waverly lines of silver?" Minka's face was blank. "You don't see that?" Lizzie was confused. The idea that people didn't see what she saw was new to her. "Do you see that?" Minka asked. "You actually see that?" Lizzie nodded. Minka stared at her sister. Describe it to me exactly." Minka put down a new sheet of paper and picked up her paints again, blending and dabbing as Lizzie spoke. And when she was done, the trees and the paper looked just as Lizzie saw it. She clapped her hands with joy, and Minka laughed and dabbed at her nose with the silvery colors she had somehow managed to create from the paints that she had. Ever since, Lizzie had explained the colors she saw to Minka, and Minka painted what Lizzie described. Those paintings hung beside Minka's wall art in wooden frames that Father carved during the long winter nights, a bear on a cloud of deep burgundy, the color of its rumbling growl, the tea kettle whistling bright copper steam, yellow-green rain falling on their cottage. Such strange colors, Mother would say, shaking her head, but Father liked them. All right, my friends, that's the first few pages of Goblin Market by Diane Zahler. If you would like to finish this book, feel free to stop on by or give us a call and we will pull it for you. Thanks, friends. We'll see you next time.